Hey everyone, welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. This is Helene, and we are sponsored by the Plant Based Network, and we're excited for you to join us today. And of course, if you're a fan of prizes, then you want to go to virtualvegfest.com and enter our contest. Go to this little contest tab, and you can enter to win a prize pack from Orgain, Follow Your Heart, Crafters Organics, Hodo Foods, Shroom Meats, and Cinnaholic. And Cinnaholic is our sponsor of our live this month. So they're the newest one. And if you live by a Cinnaholic, you'll get the chance to win a $50 gift certificate from them. And the way that happens is we pick 6 winners at the beginning of the following month. And you might be that lucky one. It's simple. All you have to do is go and like Virtual Veg Fest, like subscribe on YouTube. This month we are giving actually 25 entries for people who subscribe to our YouTube channel on Virtual Veg Fest, which is our hint that we want you to subscribe to Virtual Veg Fest on YouTube. It's as simple as that. So pretty excited about today. It is Diana Edelman, and oddly enough, in my family, I have cousins with the last name Edelman. So we're just trying to figure out if we're related. And we're going to talk Vegas, and we're going to talk food, and we're going to talk Vegan's baby, and everything that we can possibly do, and all about Diana's life, which sounds absolutely incredible. So let's bring her on. If you have any questions or comments, to put them in a little box, and we'll definitely address them. Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. This is super exciting because, like I said, we probably are related.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not a very common last name.
No.
No, and the way from my side, my cousin's name, well, one of them was Herbie Edelman, and Herbie Edelman is actually a television movie star. He's no longer alive. He died when he was in his 50s, and that's been a long time that he's been passed. But he was on Love American Style. He was on Golden Girls. He did movies with Jerry Lewis, who I met because I went out to California and saw him, and he was filming the movie with Jerry. It was a terrible movie, but he was filming the movie with him, so I was on the set. So that's obviously I won't forget my family name, but he has 2 daughters, one of which I'm in touch with. I found her. So I was I should probably reach out to her and see if there's even more connections. That'd be pretty
Yeah,
neat. But I would love
yeah.
for you to share with everyone who you are and what you do and just let us know.
Great. Well, I am Diana Edelman. I am the founder of Vegan's Baby. And basically, my goal with Vegan's Baby is to make vegan dining approachable and accessible and to get rid of the stigma of what do you eat if you're vegan and to show people that you can eat amazing, flavorful food even, as a vegan, because I think there's such a misconception that if you go vegan, you're going to eat salads and baked potatoes and it's really boring. And where do you get your protein and all that stuff? And really, there's a whole very exciting dining scene out there that really spotlights plants and makes it makes being vegan more attainable. And it removes that roadblock of, well, what do you eat if you go out to eat? So that's basically my goal. And I founded Vegan's Baby May 2016, so it'll be 5 years next month. It's been an amazing journey. About halfway through, I launched a vegan dining month. So basically, the month of January to coincide with Veganuary, restaurants around the city offer vegan options that they normally don't have. A portion of the proceeds from that goes to a nonprofit. In 2020, we expanded to San Diego and Portland. And in 2022, we're expanding even further because obviously this year was kind of a wash. I did it in Vegas and that was it because so many cities are still struggling, from the pandemic. So I do that. And then I'm also a partner with the James Beard Foundation. So I've curated 2 dinners at the James Beard House in New York City and brought in chefs from Vegas. And we have plant-based dinners there. So I've been doing that now. That partnership is about 1.5 years old. We just did an online event 2 weeks ago with 3 Vegas chefs. And I also do vegan food tours, one in Las Vegas. And then I have some international tours My next tour actually is going on sale for Madrid and Paris. Hopefully, assuming that everything continues the forward movement. But it will be October 2nd through 12th. And then I have a Morocco tour spring 2022 so far. So I got my hands in a lot of different pots over here.
That's well, I'm actually familiar with hands in a lot of pots. It's how I prefer it. I
Yeah.
I I just one thing, that's boring. Two things,
Yeah,
that's boring.
exactly.
That's boring too. Like 50
Mm-hmm.
things, that's normal.
Yeah.
Right?
You
Because
gotta
you
have a lot of things on your to-do list or just, what do you do?
right, what I find is when things slow down, like 2020, when things slow down, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have a ton of stuff to do, I will literally be like, I don't want to do anything and
Yeah.
just stop and almost pause. And then when I'm really busy, I get everything done.
Yeah.
Like bam, 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 and just flowing this, that, move here, this. Oh, you're just moving around, and it's just a, it fits in with my personality. I just need that.
Yeah.
It sounds like you might need that too.
I like to be busy. Like if I wake up at the beginning of the day and I'm like, oh, I have like one thing on my to-do list, like I don't know what to do with myself. Like even if I don't want to do everything in a day, I still need to like have things to do. Like I've got a whiteboard and I look at it every day and it's like right over here, you can't see it. But like I literally have had something down on my whiteboard. I've had one, two, three, four, six things on my whiteboard that say this week on it. And I literally have done one of them, but then my voice hasn't changed in like a month because I'm just like, oh, well, this is like, it's like my backup stuff. Like, oh, well, you have these things to do also. So it's, I enjoy being busy. It keeps me like on my toes. It keeps me moving,
Mm-hmm.
especially, during the pandemic, it was really hard because as I'm sure Las Vegas was extremely hard hit. And so because I was doing events here, I had my tours, I was featuring restaurants. And as soon as the pandemic happened, like it all went away. And so it's like, well, what do you do when there's like, you have nothing to do and you can't even manufacture things to do because really the city shut down or, we had really, really bad numbers here for like most of the fall and winter. It was really like 21% positivity rate. I'm like, I'm not going out. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit home. I'm going to order the same five things from the same two restaurants I eat at, like regularly, and I'm just gonna hunker down and try to make work for myself. So I started like dipping my toes into a few other like projects and things like that. But I really like being busy. Long story
Yeah,
short,
I mean, I totally understand. You pivot, right?
yeah,
The 2020 was the year of pivoting, and if you didn't pivot, you probably didn't survive
yeah,
because that's the only thing you can do at that time. You had to think outside the box,
yeah,
and you had to be really flexible.
yeah,
And that's the only way because I mean, like over a year ago, these started about over a year ago, and virtualvegfest.com started over a year ago. Like it was that you wake up and you walk around and you kind of like come back and go, we need to go virtual because I don't see us doing any events this year.
no,
In person events. We did one, but just one out of the six that we would typically do. And it's hard because as the year went on, by the time we opened, like by the time things closed, I should say March ish, I had had five of six of the events open already, and like
uh,
two almost sold out in vendors. So it made some accounting and it made for a fun year of like, can you push this that where you can do like back and forth because the nonprofit still has expenses even if we don't do events. So it then became survival in
yeah,
addition to, and well, what are we going to do? Because how long is this going to last? I don't know. So you kind of you and I'm going to say this for you because I'm pretty sure have our pulses on what's happening with events
yeah,
in the world and especially where we live or where we want to do them. And I I'm I feel pretty confident. I'm probably 90% confident. I have three events opening up this week. One opened up today. and
Good.
they'll be outdoors. I won't do indoors yet,
Yeah.
and they they'll happen. And there's no
Yeah.
reason why they wouldn't happen. I did an event in Nashville, Tennessee, when Nashville, the state of Tennessee was already red.
Yeah.
Like that was the highest level at that point until they put that extra highest level, that burgundy red for COVID, right? But the state was already there and they allowed me to do an event safely, mask, temperature checks, social distancing, the whole thing. And nobody got hurt, nobody got sick.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like a few months later, I learned some things about COVID that if I'd known then, I probably wouldn't have done the event. So you're like, I know too much information. But yeah, we have to. Yeah, I'm vaccinated. I'm pro-vax vaccination. This program is pro-vaccination, so I feel more comfortable that I won't die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll get now it's like, well, now we'll get the flu. It's like a flu-ish type thing. And at my age, I'm like right on the cusp of where I'm like high risk.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm not that old, but I'm like COVID old. So
Oh, okay.
right, exactly. It's like, how old is that high risk? It's like 54. I was like, I'm 51. I'm like kind of close to that. So I don't want to die. I don't want this. I don't want long hauler. I don't want to be sick. I'm such a baby when I'm sick.
Oh, I am too. I live by myself. I'm like, if I get sick, like, who's gonna take care of me? Who's gonna walk my dog?
Right.
Like,
Especially like COVID, because you can't be like, here's the dog.
yeah, no, not at all. Like, let me like bleach my entire house before you come walk my dog. So
Every single day. And
yeah,
you won't have the energy to do that anyway. So it's like, you know what, here you go. I told you can't go in the house, but you know what? It's an extreme.
yeah.
I'm glad that didn't happen though.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
Me,
because like we were just saying before we went live, we were talking about Vegas and how you said 21% of the rate of
yeah,
the COVID of people getting sick was. I mean, we never got that high in North Carolina,
yeah.
thankfully, but that's. I remember when they opened. I heard that they opened up the casinos, and I was like, yo. And I'm sure
What?
people are gambling because it's gambling.
Yeah,
But
Vegas now, though, I think the president, I was at an event like 2 weeks ago, and the president of the LBCBA basically was talking about like the city coming back and said that in the next year we have more conferences booked than we've ever had booked. And granted, we do have like a new convention center that's opened, but also coming out of a pandemic, that's what we have. So our city, I think they had said it's going to take years for Vegas to heal, but I think now with the fact that everybody wants to come here and all the conventions are coming back, we've got our first really big one in June. Like Vegas is going to bounce back a lot quicker than I think a lot of people thought. So it's very good to see, going out to eat and seeing restaurants busy again, or like, going to make a reservation because right now restaurants are still at 50% capacity here. And seeing you can get a reservation for like a week at a restaurant. I'm like, oh, but also that's great because that means they're busy. So that makes me really happy. But it was a tough go.
yeah, I, I, we won't sit in a restaurant
Yeah.
yet. We takeout is
Yeah.
is the way to go, and I don't want to ignore Honey. So Honey, thank you for showing up. Honey like loved your picture on Instagram, and of
I love
course the quote, like Honey said, if you want something to get done, give it to a busy person. It oddly enough, that is so true because
it.
I mean, depending on how busy, but typically if someone who's busy says, "Hey, I'll," if we say that we'll do that, then we're probably going to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, and we're probably going to do it right at that moment when you ask, because otherwise we won't do
Yeah.
it.
Like, cool, I got you. Let's go.
Right, exactly. Oh, you need this, send it. And Honey is that person too.
I've been following Honey. I love you, Honey. You're fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I love the other side. I love Ben as well. So it depends on who you're talking to, but Honey is emceed some of our events, and I've hung out with Ben, and we've had dinner, and we have great conversations, and we want to write. I mean, we've talked about writing songs,
I,
So, aw.
I love it.
Yeah, have you met?
No, no.
Oh, that has to
Instagram.
happen. Next time, if and when you go to New York,
Yeah.
yo, you need to get together.
In New York in what, 2.5 weeks? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up with
Yep.
honey. That'd be really cool because if you're in New York in 2.5 weeks, then you're gonna eat.
I'm definitely gonna eat. I'm definitely like because I've been like stuck so much in Vegas. Like I'm a traveler. I'm used to being on planes. Like this is the longest I haven't been on an airplane my whole adult life. Um, like my goal is one day I want to wake up and just take the train all the way to the top of the city and just walk all the way down. Like
Hmm.
my goal. Like I know it's 13 miles. I want to put my headphones on and just walk for the whole day. So that's my plan.
The streets are shorter than the avenues. If you zigzag, it's a really big walk.
Really?
Yeah, the streets are. It's much easier to do streets. I can't remember. Honey can probably say what the was it 10 city blocks is a mile. Honey, you can remember. Is it 20 is a mile? I can't remember, but the avenues are much wider. So I've walked from Penn Station up to like 79th Street. And then
Mm-hmm.
but I also walked over to York and East End, and you start out on like 7th Avenue or 8th Avenue, so you have to go all the way across, and those are longer avenues. But sometimes that's what happened. I would go in and go into a friend's house, and I didn't want to take a cab, and I just didn't feel like going to she's gonna look it up. I didn't feel like going to the subway. So it would be like a 50-degree day, like you have your gloves on day, but
Yeah.
after like about 10, 15 blocks, gloves are off day, jackets open, and you do this like awesome walk, and it's a great the energy. I grew up there, so I still come out of the subway. I still come out of Penn Station, actually, from the Long Island Railroad, and I look up, and the Empire. You can see the Empire State Building as you come out, and I still gawk at this.
It's a
Still,
beautiful sight when you at a station and you're like, oh, because it's like you're there, and then you come out and you're like, oh my gosh, like everything's so alive, and oh, I can't wait to go back. One of my
yeah,
favorite cities in the world.
yeah, it really is. I forget about talking about Vegas. We're talking about Manhattan. So I mean, I mean, it is. I've been to a lot of cities. I've traveled a lot. I've been to Europe. It is one of my favorite cities in the world, and I wouldn't want to live there. I can handle it for about 36 hours maybe before I start going, where's my car? And
Mm,
I can't handle these people. Too much. It's too much. I'm suburbia.
yeah,
Like I just am, and I'm okay with that. I'm a mountain person, not an ocean person. I grew up on an island. I was like, I don't like the beach. So I went the opposite way, and now I live where there's deer and possum and raccoons and cats
well,
and fox like running around my house. Perfect.
that's
But
a,
I'm 12 miles from downtown Raleigh.
really nice.
Yeah, so it's like the best of both worlds. And of course, here in the Triangle, the ocean's 2 hours away. Mountains are even closer than that. It's I lived in Sacramento, so it's kind of the same thing
Yeah,
in
I grew
California.
up in the mountains. So we had the beach and the mountains. We had like within like a what 90 minutes to the mountains and like 3 hours to the beach. It was a good setup.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, oh yeah, I got it right. So yes, 20 blocks in Manhattan is 1 mile, and one avenue is equal to 3 blocks. So when you do your walk, if you decide to zigzag, just know
Well, maybe I will zigzag.
it depends on where you're starting from and where you're going down to, and what
Yeah,
you want to see.
I just want to walk.
Okay.
Like, oh, this street looks cool. I'm gonna wander here.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, the east side is different from the west side, and you don't want to go too far west because Oh.
Okay.
And
Okay.
when you get lower, you don't want to go too far east. It's
Yeah.
just that middle section is like the groovy part. I mean, and also you can go through Times Square.
Well, Times Square is hard to walk through.
Maybe do it in the middle of the night. It's a great. I mean, it's still going to be crowded, but it won't be as
Yeah.
crowded as during the day.
I always want to end up in Times Square. Like, how? Okay, cool. Like, I don't know how I ended up walking through here, but here I am. So we're just gonna power through it and get out of it and keep walking.
Well, that brings me to like last time I was in Vegas. We were in Old Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'd parked the car, and I had friends who wanted to go to. They wanted to go buy pot, one of the commissary, like the commissary things or whatever, and we decided to walk. Yeah, so right, and I was like, can we walk faster? Because where we are right now is
No.
this is not this isn't
Mm-mm.
good. I was
Mm-mm.
like, let's and then the New York part of me kicks in, like, okay, let's move, let's go watching, like, where are you, what's around us, and once we got there, it was fine, and I think we actually took an Uber back.
Mean, well, Vegas also isn't a walking city. Like, I'm not gonna, and I try to walk here, but like, I'm not gonna put my headphones on and start at one side of Vegas and walk to the other side. Like, it's just, don't do it. It's not like Vegas isn't a city like other cities. So it's like a lot of suburbs with like the strip and downtown.
Right,
And
and
you don't want to strip anyway because that's a nightmare.
this strip, I mean, it's great to walk if it's not a busy time.
Yeah.
Like, when is that? And but I
And the next,
also, one of my pet peeves is that people stop in the middle of the walking area. And that's a really big thing in Vegas. And you're like, come, can't you just move to the side? Like, there's good
yeah.
advice. If you're going to stop where people walk, just move over to the side, like cars would. They won't just stop in
Yeah.
the middle of the road if they decide they want to just stop and look at a map.
Yeah.
They go to the side of the road. People need to do
Mm-hmm.
that too. Oh, like, we gotta think. Yeah. So I mean, it's same. I'm pretty sure it happens in New York City too. But oh my gosh, like, honey is so funny. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it drives me nuts. So I actually say something like, maybe move out of the way. Like, thanks for
Yeah.
standing in. Like, why you stopped here? I mean, it's just that's like the
Or
freeway for us
people that
here.
are like,
Why was that? Oh, right, right.
and you're like, what? Go, scoot.
I know. I just want to walk. I'm trying to get to
Mhm.
the casino. My tournament starts. Oh, if Annie's saying, like, if you, it would be like if you recognize another driver on the freeway and you both immediately stop to like pull over. Exactly. One thing that Honey said that we didn't touch on before is that, and lately she's been feeling down on the busy side. So many ideas, but can't bring myself to do anything. So I need to get back into that I'm too busy state. Yeah, I think maybe, we just have to set up a call. I have to get your ideas going, and then I'll give you some energy, and then you can move. And then, maybe come to some events. But I can't pay you because I don't have any money this year. So let's talk Vegas.
Okay.
Favorite things about Vegas for me. Obviously, I play poker, so best a great city to do that. Amen to you too, honey. And Red Rock Canyon,
Yes, beautiful.
right? The donkeys that are in Red Rock Canyon, I've had the pleasure of seeing, so very
Mhm.
fortunate. And food, shows are incredible, like some of the best shows in the world. But
Yeah.
food, one thing that I don't think people realize, vegan food, is that I feel, and I think you're going to back me up, that Vegas is one of the best cities for vegan food, and has like some of the most vegan food of out of like a lot of cities. I mean, I've had better food in Vegas than San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah, Ponchos is
Yeah.
a from the airport to Ponchos, and before getting to the airport to go home, Ponchos. because it's right up the road from the airport.
Maybe I'm a tacotarian.
Yes. Oh my God. You're so lucky.
They're opening another location this summer. Like they're doing so well. It's run by such nice, wonderful people. I can't say enough things about how much I love them. Like they are just great. Their food is great. Um, they're wonderful.
Yeah, so if you're watching, we're talking nachos, we're talking tacos, burritos, like these vegan Beyond Meat meatball things they call something, but they were like, I wish we'd ordered more because we got them to go, and when we ate, I was like, we should have got more of these. This is so good. Yeah, one of my favorite places in Vegas. And there's some I don't like, but for the most part, I like pretty much everywhere we went to. And I know there's been some restaurant drama in Vegas. What's the one that's newer? She opened up another one in California. I
Oh, the modern vegan.
Modern Vegan. Yeah, there
Mm-hmm.
was some drama there. I read about that with I don't even remember what it was, but the food was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have modern vegan here. They actually just closed the San Diego modern vegan, and then they opened up a taco dive bar here in Las Vegas. It's called Taco Dive Bar. It's the first gaming bar that's all vegan.
That's theirs.
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
saw you posted that.
Yep. Yep. So that's
That's
open. They've got it's like Mexican street food. They brought in like really talented street artists to like deck out the whole interior. They're going to have like DJs and things like that. So that's a first for us in Vegas to have something like that.
that's so cool. I can't wait. What are we? It's April?
Yeah,
How many months before I get there?
don't make me math.
No, it's okay. We're month 4, so 8 months.
7 months. There you
8,
go.
9, 10, 8 months. 8 months? 8 months.
8 months. This is
Yeah.
why I don't.
I
You're
was
right.
like I was like 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can use my fingers.
I'm a writer and not a math person.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean that's when are we coming? It is early December, I think. We did it between our birthdays.
Oh,
Is what
fun.
was the plan. Yeah, and we'll be there from I think a Thursday to Monday, Thursday to Tuesday, something like that. We'll be
Gives
there.
you time to go everywhere.
Pardon? Oh, is the timeshares through Hilton?
Nice. You've got enough time to eat at all the places. And you know what? So I have it's sitting right here. I've got a vegan dining guide, and I will send you one. It'll be up by then. It comes out only like around Thanksgiving. I will get you an updated one so you have a book to go eat all the best food in Vegas.
Yeah, we it's a funny story. It's closed now because I learned that it's closed, but there was the vegan fried fish
Oh yeah,
and
off the hook.
right, yeah, and oddly enough she's from North Carolina, which
Oh, I'm talking about. Okay, no, Amber's.
yes, she was
Yeah,
in
okay.
that really divey dining
Yep.
hall thing. So we went
Mm-hmm.
there before going to a show and we were
Mm-hmm.
dressed. Like he was in a suit, I was in a dress, and you know where we went. And we showed up, it was like, well, let's go eat fried food. And it was like, we're sitting on like plastic chairs. Like I feel badly. I
Cafeteria.
didn't I didn't know that she was from North Carolina until afterwards because I posted on Instagram and tagged her from my North Carolina, you know, Instagram Triangle Veg Fest, and she was writing to me, and I should have. I don't know. Normally you have conversations, sometimes you don't, because I noticed that she had the Kalalaki barbecue sauce, not barbecue sauce. Yeah, barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's really particular to have in Vegas, that there'd be like a North Carolina type thing. And I thought about it, but then it made total sense. And I said that when I was communicating with her online. I was like, you should come here and do this. You kill it if you come to North Carolina and do this. So
Yeah.
sad that I mean, I'm guessing that was a COVID thing or something because,
No, they closed well before COVID. I
uh,
mean, they were maybe, I mean, everything pre-COVID just kind of blends in. So I don't know when they opened and I don't remember when they closed, but they weren't open a very long time.
oh, it
Yeah.
was fried food. It was like really fried food, but it was gluten free and I could eat it. And I was like, that's so cool. Yes, yes. Part of the reason we
Okay.
went. Yeah, so that was I was like, that's so neat. So we like we went to I mean, between like when we went that time and the previous time, I like to hop around and like try everything. I get a car because how else do you go eat everything?
Yeah.
So I literally like just jumped around and just ate food. The milkshake at like the drive-through, like the burger
Oh, that's
drive-through place, was delicious. I didn't like the
yeah.
food, but the milkshake was incredible.
Closed now. So
Oh
you
man, I wonder what
have
else.
even
What was that?
pots.
Let's say it one more time because you broke up.
Oh, pots. It's Egyptian food.
No, I haven't. There's Egyptian food.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. She's it's amazing food. Definitely like that should be top of your list next time. And tip you for some like really amazing plant-based sushi and izakaya. Sensational.
I'm a
Sensational.
big vegan sushi fan. Like,
Oh, then you will love chick
yeah, I that's that would definitely be a top of the list thing. Outside of like going to ponchos, that would be a
Yeah.
top thing. And then there was a place we'd get breakfast. It's over like by Ronald's. It's over that way. Go vegetarian. That's not go. Is it go vegan?
Cafe. Her omelets are it's the best omelet I've ever had. So good. So good.
I questioned like if I was eating eggs.
Really? Okay.
I knew that I was in a vegan restaurant because it wasn't like vegan vegetarian. It's all vegan, and I got that omelet, and I was like, you stop. Sometimes you stop and pause when you're eating, and you have to
Yeah.
look around and go, no, there are no eggs in this restaurant.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Amazing. Like
Yeah. Hers is
amazing. For breakfast. It was like we actually had food delivered for breakfast twice to the hotel and ate
yeah.
breakfast in bed.
Sounds so decadent. Oh,
That was really cool. The other thing about the hotel, it had those shades that are electronic.
oh no. So it could be like the middle of the day and it's like nighttime in your room.
Just to press the button, have them go up and down. It was so cool.
Never had
It's like that was really neat. So that's the what is it? Allure, Alara, something. The one that's the Hilton in the
Madara?
in
Or no, I don't know. I don't know.
it's right in the middle. It's like by Planet Hollywood-ish. So
Okay. I'm
yeah,
not sure.
my whole apartment is like that. You put that up? You were looking to do stuff like that. It was Honey was trying to figure out, I think, how to put these screws into concrete. We were talking about with the curtains and the shades. That's really cool. It's like really cool. So yeah, so those are like, like I said, there's some things that like places I won't go anymore in
Yeah.
Vegas, but there's so many other things that I just love.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like thank goodness we can walk
Yeah.
and exercise because
Yeah.
I feel like I would just blow up because of I guess that's a lot of food.
And then now we've got a vegan restaurant on the strip, Truth and Tonic inside Canyon Ranch at Venetian. They're open for breakfast and lunch, and his food's amazing. He's a health conscious vegan chef, so he's got like frittatas, avocado, banana muffins, all sorts of stuff. Just very, very talented, very good. And then I'm seeing what and really truly what's been happening in the past 5 years is so many restaurants that never had vegan options now do. So you've got acclaimed chefs all over the city adding vegan options to their menus. So now, like, I was just at Other Mama this week, and it's from James Beard nominated chef Dan Cromer, and so now he has vegan options at his restaurant. So if you wanted to try some of these like award-winning, like just incredibly talented chefs, now you can go to their restaurants and they have stuff for you to try too. So you can still, Vegas is known for its culinary scene, particularly off strip. So now you can go experience these places. We've got Esther's Kitchen. I believe James Trees is another James Beard nominated chef, and he has vegan options, although you have to ask, but he's got one on his menu, but then quite a few more. We have Brian Howard and Sparrow and Wolf. just so much talent here in our city now that are embracing vegan options and adding them to their menu. So it's just been really, really exciting to watch that happen. Jamie Tran, who is on Top Chef right now on Bravo, her restaurant Black Sheep has got incredible vegan options. So it makes me really excited to see that these chefs adding things to their menus too. So that way, it even diversifies the opportunities to eat amazing food even more.
That's so cool. Is that the new season of Top Chef?
Yeah, it's on right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm on the previous one.
Oh, well, Jamie is one of my most favorite people in Las Vegas. She's an incredibly talented chef, and she has the best personality. I adore her. So definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Her food is absolutely astounding. I'm so excited she's on Top Chef, and I'm really glad that I've gotten to eat her food. She was actually the James Beard the dinner that I was working on that got canceled last May. She was one of the 5 chefs that was going to be coming with me to New York, but it didn't happen. But it will hopefully soon. So
Yeah,
Black Sheep.
that's so cool because they always have like a vegan vegetarian episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's not vegan or vegetarian, but she
Right.
just happens to have her vegan scallion pancakes are the best scallion pancakes I've ever eaten in my life.
I love scallion pancakes.
Episode, I have a web series called The Good Fork, and she was on it, and she showed me how to make vegan scallion pancakes. And now there's her recipes on my website.
All right,
So
I'm going there after this because I want to make I love them. Growing up in New York, scallion pancakes. I actually would judge a Chinese restaurant on if they had them on the menu or not.
yeah.
Because they're not on every menu. So I was like, well, we're not eating here. They don't have scallion pancakes.
If you want another, there's 2 other places with really good scallion pancakes. There's Every Grain by Chef Sheridan Sue, who's another, believe James Beard nominated chef. And then Mark Marone has Graffiti Bao, and he has vegan scallion pancakes too. So you could do just a vegan scallion pancake tour of Las Vegas.
Oh my god. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna dial you up and you'd be like,
Yeah.
this is all your fault because we can't stop eating.
Vegan scallion pancakes. Why? You go to Vegas for vegan scallion pancakes. Yes, you do.
And nachos. Come on, why wouldn't you do these things?
We also have a really good pizza scene here now. The vegan pizza scene is on fire here. There's a new shop that opened in this little teeny tiny bar called Hard Hat Lounge, and it's called Gorilla Pizza, and it's Detroit pizza, and he makes the best vegan Detroit pizza. Actually, the best vegan pizza I've ever had. And
Oh.
I'm obsessed with pizza. Everywhere I go, no matter where I go, I always find vegan pizza. And of all the vegan pizza places I've tried, his is my favorite, and then second behind that is My Pie Pizza in Chicago.
Okay, so tell me why.
Well, okay. So the pizza Robbie makes at Gorilla, it's deep dish, greasy, a little sweet, and then the sauce is tangy with a little kick to it. And then he has all the vegetables he can throw on. He uses Beyond Meat and his grandmother's Hungarian spices he mixes into the Beyond Meat. So you just get this just flavorful bite at every bite, and it's the crust is soft on the inside, crispy on the outside. It's perfect. It's perfect. And then the pizza in Chicago, it's a flaky, almost buttery crust, and I love them both. I love them both.
That's okay. Now there's now there's more stuff to go and try. And yeah, there wasn't enough to do as it was. Like I said, we rent a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rent a car, and and there's so many more things than from the last time we were there. And to be able to go fine dine, the one thing we did do, we dined in the dark.
Oh, the blackout. Yep.
Yep. And it was one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Yeah, I liked it. I've been there twice, and the second time they were like, "Does anyone have panic attacks?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, I do." And well, you might get anxiety, and I'm like, "Oh no!" I didn't even think about it. I'm just eating. And the second time, I'm like, don't have a panic attack, don't have a panic attack, don't have a panic attack. Wish I hadn't said anything to me because all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna have a panic attack in the middle of this restaurant because like they were like, just be here, just in case, and then it's like on my mind like panic attack, panic attack, panic attack. I did not have one, but for a minute I was like, oh gosh, no.
That's so funny. People don't know what we're talking about because I've talked about it on the show before, but it's been a while. There's a restaurant in Vegas that is all vegan, like ethically vegan, the whole thing. And you dine in the dark, like pitch black, dark. You have to use your other senses. Obviously, touch is one of them, and smell and taste. And you don't know what you're eating. You just know, like, if you ever sort of like, mine was gluten free, and I was like, no fenugreek whatsoever because I'm deathly allergic to it, which I don't normally cook with, but I have to make sure. And it was so much fun for me because I have a palate to taste something and go, all right. And then Steven would be like, I don't know what this is. And I'd be like, oh. And then you come up with what you're eating. And then they have the menu after you're done so you can go and see how good you were at what you were eating. And it was like really funny because it's dark and you order your drinks ahead of time, as you know, and they just refill. Like if it's a soda, they just refill it. So Steven asked for another ginger ale and they put it on the table. So I took it, drank from it, and put it in a different place in purpose. And he was like, "Where's my soda?"
They're like trying not to knock anything over as you're just like feeling around for it.
It was really funny because we sat next to each other. It was so funny and trying to feed one another in the pitch dark. That's weird. But it was really really fun. I mean, and delicious. It wasn't like, it's not just like the gimmick of being in the dark. The food was incredible.
Yeah.
And we would totally do it again. Like, I mean, I'm sure we're probably going to do that in December because that'd be a great reservoir date.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you want to ditch them. You want to ditch. Hello? Are you there? It feel. And so if honey, if you're sitting across the table, you can get away with that more easily. But you have to actually get someone there to lead you out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
there's no way. You have to hold each other's shirts and walk out because they have night vision glasses.
exactly. That is so funny. So yes, that's actually one of my most fun things that we did there. So what's your favorite? If you can play, don't I guess I totally get the conflict of having to play favorites living in your city. So
There are places I go to regularly. Potts, Tacotarian, Chick-U would be like the three that are like in my rotation. Like if I'm gonna go out and it's not for a tasting, those are typically the places I go. But it's honestly like because everything's open again, like I'm literally going to a million different places again. So I haven't. The only place I've gone to regularly since I've been vaccinated has been Chick-U, and that's like I'm averaging like maybe once a week at Chick-U. Like, I got out of my car the other day to go, and my little thing popped up with directions saying it'll take you 9 minutes to get to Chick-U.
How did you know?
Oh, because normally if like there's very like I'm like, okay, thank you, creepy ass phone for that. So yeah, Chick-U is definitely like where I go these days.
What?
But in terms of everything else, like it's so hard to have a favorite because it's like a favorite when it comes to what type of dining. So that's why I actually did my dining guide, because it's like, yeah, I absolutely have favorites, and but I have 45 different favorites. So it depends what kind of mood I'm in. Like if I want sushi, I go to Chick-U. If I want pizza, I go to Gorilla. If I want like a nice upscale tasting menu, I'm going to go to EDO. So if I'm on the strip, maybe I'll go to Catch. Like it just depends on what I'm feeling or what everyone else wants.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, that's fair. It's hard. You do. You have like your relationships are built around the people that run these restaurants. So, and I get that we have like maybe a favorite food for sense, because then it's like, well, this is what, like you said, I want vegan sushi. I'll go here, which I was going to
Mhm.
ask what that was. So now I know, and that's I get it because I have it. I have, you know, you support. Yeah, I support everybody. Obviously, vendors are part of my livelihood. I'm part of their
Yeah.
livelihood with what I do. And, when they open up like a storefront, I'll go and support them at their storefront. And like bakery, right? Open 10 minutes from my house, a vegan bakery. It's like the first
Yeah.
full storefront vegan bakery we've have in the triangle, 10 minutes from my house, which is so dangerous. And then
Yes.
but then there's other vegan bakers, which I absolutely love and adore. But I have a vegan bakery 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah. Like I
So,
tell people from like Chicky was 9 minutes for me.
right.
The coffee class where I go a lot because I really like, they have a rose oat latte that's amazing, and vegan gluten free Pop Tarts, and that's right by my house. So like those are the two places I go. They know me there. Like that's it's my neighborhood.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So let's kind of pivot into, let's see, you have lived in a lot of places. You have
I
helped
have.
save elephants. You have
Yes.
brought cats back.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all sleeping next to me right now. My little menagerie of animals.
I love that. Like I would love for them to be in here, except that they're going to bark if the wind blows.
Yeah. I'm surprised Fido, who is sleeping under my feet now, hasn't like gotten up and could like hang out with me. Let
And
me say hi.
I know, I know. If one of my cats was in here, she would be all up in my face, so and hurting me with her claws. So, but yeah, so
They're
let's.
having fun.
Yes, I'd love to hear about like your travels and where you've lived, and of course, like thank you for saving elephants, and it it's so cool.
Like I lived, I spent almost 3 years in Thailand, living in Chiang Mai, working with an elephant sanctuary there. I did their social media and PR, and I also went on elephant rescues with them and like documented them. Um, then I moved to London and lived in London for a few months before I relocated to Spain, where I lived in Madrid for about 9 months, and then I moved back to Vegas and started Vegans Baby. So that was like 2012 to like basically the end of 2015. So did that. It was all, everything you do obviously gets you to where you're supposed to be. So like I know it was like the right journey for me, and I'm so grateful for all the experiences I had. Living in Thailand and working in animal rights was mentally just really really hard. Like um, I see like the animal rights side of our world, and I have so much respect for them because after 2.5 years, I couldn't do it anymore. Like it was just, it's mentally just such a hard world to live in, and to live and breathe it every day. So, like I still wanted to continue my activism, but decided that I would do it through food instead of the more um, emotional side of things. But yeah, Thailand was definitely an experience. It's an incredible country. I loved. I sometimes like look back. I'm like, I can't believe I worked with elephants. I can't believe like this was the life I lived. So it's definitely one of those like pinch me moments. And then obviously like London and Madrid were great, but that was, you know, I just wasn't ready to come back to the States yet. I was like, no, we're gonna hard pause on that. Like I wasn't even sure if I ever wanted to move back to the States. And then like by the time I got to Madrid, I'm very open about like my mental health struggles in the past, and I was really probably the unhappiest I'd ever been in Madrid. Like I was very lonely, I was very tired. I was just very very depressed, and I was like, you know what, I don't need to stay here any longer. I'm just so unhappy. I want to work on myself, and I want to come home. And so I did. But now, yeah, I do vegan tours around the world. I am am a born traveler. I used to have a travel blog in the 2010s. Like it was one of the most popular in the world for a brief minute before like Instagram and everything took over.
Right.
But so I've just been traveling so much of my adult life and exploring and adventuring around the world. So it's such an ingrained part of me. So it's cool to be able to bring everything, like all the things I love together into my world now.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that's. Do you want to touch more on mental health to help other people? I mean, if not,
I
that's
mean,
okay. But I mean, I feel like it's important for people to hear other people and
yeah, I mean, I'm fine talking about it. I'm very open. Lindsay travels around my travel blog. I've written extensively about it on my personal Instagram, the Diana Edelman. I talk about it a lot. I have um, really bad anxiety that like rears its head in random places. Just like once it gets in my head, like don't have a panic attack or don't have an anxiety attack, suddenly I feel my heart racing, and I'm like, you know. But like COVID was very, very hard for me because of the first panic attack I ever had was when a friend of mine passed away in Thailand, and he was like 43 and he died. And I remember like the night of his service, because it's a like a 2-day funeral in or more than that in the Buddhist religion. And the first day they were telling him to go and pick up his footprints from all the places he had been. And one of the last places he had been was my house, and he had left his shoes outside my door. And so like I was like walking home from the funeral, and I started to feel like really lightheaded and short of breath. And I got home and was like, okay. And then like I just thought I was dying. And so like not being able to breathe and things like that. And so COVID just tapped into that, like being alone, not being able to breathe. And like obviously COVID at the time they thought it was a respiratory disease. So like it just triggered me. So I was like, you know what, I don't ever want to have a panic attack like the one I had. And I've never, like, I just don't want to put myself in a position. So I was very, very cautious for the entire, until I was vaccinated. And even then, I still am cautious. But just, it's, it's no joke. And I think that people, throw anxiety around and like, oh, like the one thing was like, well, you're making this a bigger deal than it is. Like, you're fine. I'm like, I understand that. Like, I know logically, like the likelihood of me getting sick, the likelihood of any of these things is so slim, but that doesn't matter. My body's response is panic. Like, it doesn't, I can literally tell you every single fact, and that, you know what, I know that my physical response isn't in line with what I logically know, but I can't change it. It's just, it doesn't stop. So I'm very open about it. I was depressed a good chunk of my life. When I quit my job when I turned 30 to go travel and do my travel blog, I was running, and I'm very open about like, if you're going to travel because you want to run away from your problems, you're never going to do that. Like, you will always like, Lucky, no, come here. Um, but like, you have to do the hard work on yourself to get to the point where you're not running, where
sorry.
Lucky, hey, meow, meow.
I,
You want,
I have one that does that.
because he's like, I'm going to annoy her until she feeds me. Hey,
I'm gonna take
and
care
I
of
want,
this myself. I'm good.
huh?
I'm gonna take care of this myself. I'm good.
He's not going to get anything their cans, but okay, cool. That's my cat. That's one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry that your cat interrupted you, but
Anyway, that was my mental health. Like, I'm a huge advocate. Like, work on yourself. You can't love anybody else till you love yourself, type of thing. Like, it's not hard. Like, but and there's Fido groaning. Um, but yeah, like you have to go through the storm to get out on the other side. So that's my thought on it.
no, I hear you. I'm claustrophobic, like really
Oh
claustrophobic. So, and I understand. I understand that going into that MRI, I'm not gonna die.
yeah.
I'm not gonna suffocate. I'm not gonna have anything. But when you push me into that tube,
Hmm.
I start to freak out,
Yeah.
and I have to be put to sleep.
Yeah.
to like go into that too, because no, not Valium doesn't even work. I still have the anxiety of being like, I'm claustrophobic,
Yeah.
and like exactly, totally relate. I understand.
Yeah.
I actually went to one not drugged, thinking like I can do the power of the mind over the body. Nope, nope. As soon as they started pushing me in,
Yep. No
I
way.
I freaked out. I funny story with claustrophobia. There's a ride at Disney World at Epcot Center.
Oh.
It's the mission to Mars or something like that, mission to space. And I was, they have the warnings on rides, right? They say if you're claustrophobic, if you have a bad back, if you have a bad neck, you shouldn't ride this ride. But it says on every ride, and Space Mountain says things like this, and I can
Yeah.
ride Space Mountain and not have any problems. But this ride, like they were like, if you're claustrophobic, you should turn around. And I was like, oh, it's just like normal. But then there was like another sign that said, if you're claustrophobic, you should turn around. And I was by
Yeah.
myself this day, so I was just going through the line and I was like, oh, it says that again. But they always say this. And then it did it again, and I still
Oh.
ignored it. And I got into the point where you go into the ride, and I sat down and I surveyed what was going on, and then realized that it was going to claw us in to this little pod with like four other people. And when they closed us in, I started to freak out. Like they said, once you're in, you can't get off the ride. And I was like, I was like, you need to let me out of here. Like I was like, you have to let me out of here. And obviously I wasn't let out. I, and one of the ways I got through it was we were going into space,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I had a screen in front of me, and that screen was space. And space is
Okay.
vast, and space isn't
Yes.
small. So I just focused, like you were supposed to do things during the ride, like it's going to make any difference if you did it or not. Like we're still going to go through the ride and come back. So I just focused. I was like, okay, I'm in a world where there's lots of things around me. I'm not in this tiny little pod that is freaking me out. I was like, space, space. And it was a cool ride because the centrifugal force makes it feel like you're like going up in the air. And then
Yeah.
like you're float. Then they do the where you're like feel like you're floating in, and then you come back. And when that thing opened, I was like, I don't know how, I don't know how I got through that space. And
Yeah.
I'll never do that. Even though I went through it, I'll never do that again.
No.
Like, and I will heed the warnings. I
Well,
was
good
like,
for doing it. Like you made it out.
I had no choice.
Yeah. We didn't have things.
I was like,
So,
they're not letting me off. I'm stuck in this tiny space with these four other people who have no clue whether I'm serious or not. Because I was like patting the screen. I was like, you need to let me out. I can't do this. And
oh,
they see you, but nobody came.
yeah.
Nobody came to save me.
So,
So that's where I get anxious. That's where my anxiety is. So when you speak of how you feel and what you go through, I understand.
yeah, it's tough.
It is. And for everyone else out there, never tell someone who's depressed or anxious. You just get through it. Just
Yeah.
snap your fingers, you'll be fine. It doesn't work
All
like
in your
that.
head.
Yeah, it's all in your head. It
I would
is, actually.
not think there's that. I would much rather not have that physical fight or flight response like triggered. So, you know,
Right. If I could control it, believe me, I would.
yeah,
Really, everyone who has like anxiety in social situations or depression, people don't want to wake up and be depressed.
mm,
That's not their choice,
nope,
and they it, you just can't make people change with their mental health. And sometimes no amount of counseling will possibly
yeah,
change that. You just have to work on getting through that one step at a time every day in that
yep,
moment. So,
yep,
yeah, that's I had to learn that. I had to learn that lesson. If I was one of those people that said, just like just take care of it. You should be fine. Just change your behavior. And
step out of it.
Yes, yeah, I was that person, and then I learned, and I went and got a master's in education and school counseling. I learned. I went to the actual education part of it, but you have to,
Yeah,
you have to meet people where they're at,
yeah,
and sometimes people are not in a good space, and you have to
yeah,
understand that.
yeah,
So, and also understand that not everybody is happy, and and not everyone is in a good space when you're with them, and sometimes their behavior towards you could be not the best, but meet them where they are and find out what's going on before you jump to conclusions or assumptions about them. Now, if you see them every time and they're like a dick, well, then just maybe they're a dick.
yeah. Yeah, probably exactly what's going on
Right.
there.
But give people a chance. Like we're
Yeah,
humans, we're fallible. We do things wrong. And even if you've known someone for a number of years, people still do things wrong. So forgiveness is key. I'm like it's probably applicable to my week. So thanks for letting me get that out.
oh, hold on. Lucky, no, no. Hey,
You're not allowed on the counter.
no, this is their time to eat, and so he's just gonna start knocking stuff off the counter.
They eat in the middle of the day.
He's hungry all the time, but like when he does this, it means that like he's gonna like become a jerk.
So is there stuff for him to knock off? Okay.
Yeah,
Cat person.
sure is.
I know cat
Like
behavior.
something that he can knock off, or he'll start to try to jump onto the fridge, which he's not allowed.
So on that note, if people want to get in touch with you, how would they get in touch with you, or like book a tour, or like buy your book for Vegas?
Vegansbaby.com. All my social media is vegans at vegansbaby. If they want to follow me personally, it's at the Diana Edelman. Vegan World Tours is at Vegan World Tours. So yeah.
Let me see if I can get this right. At Vegan World Tours, and then it's at. Oops, I need the at sign Diana Edelman, and uh, I want to call it Vegas Baby, because it just fit.
That's how it started.
Vegan's Baby all over social. Too
Like
far.
TikTok, Diana Edelman, not
Oh,
Vegan's Baby.
you having fun on
Yeah, TikTok.
TikTok? You having fun on TikTok?
Yeah. Oh, it's at the Diana Edelman. Sorry.
It's V, right? Is that what I missed?
No, yeah. Diana Edelman.
The
The,
Diana.
yeah.
There we go. The. I thought it was V. Okay. All right. At the Diana
Oh,
Edelman.
see, lucky.
What was it? What did he?
A little bowl.
I can laugh because I'm familiar.
Didn't even think he noticed that one.
Right. It was nothing in it, right?
No, but now he's
Okay.
just like you. Like here, let's. Where did he? I don't
It's the opposite. Oh, hey. Hey, little stinker.
know.
There's the bowl. That's awesome. Oh, so bets are so much fun. Well, thank you so much for joining me and having a very lively, fun, and important conversation because we touched on a lot of stuff. So, and eventually we'll figure out if we're actually related, and we can just go with it because we're probably cousins.
Yeah, I'm 23, so we can plug it in and see.
All right, cool. I would love to do that. Well, have a great rest of your day and feed the little monsters.
I don't get it. Thank you. Thank you
Oh,
for having me.
you're welcome. Thanks, Diana.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So, everyone, thank you so much for joining for another episode of Virtual Vegfest Live. And I have no idea. Once again, I never know what's happening next week because I forget to look. Oh, Fabricio is coming on next Thursday. And I get surprised when I look at my schedule because I don't know it. So, Fabricio is in Florida. Oh, that's so cool. I'm excited about that. And then I don't have a talk on Saturday. I have a talk on Sunday. We have a cooking demo with Jill Dalton. So both talks are at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So Thursday and Sunday next week. is when we will be live. And then on Saturday, I'm actually going to the Pure Soul grand opening in Durham. Yay! We have a couple of new shows on Virtual Vegfest on Mondays and Wednesdays. Kimberly, Fireside Chat with Kimberly's on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then Coach Kayla is on 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And we're probably going to add a couple more shows. And I think there's something else I wanted to share. We're going to have some movie fundraisers that are coming up. The first one's coming up on Tuesday, April 27th, April 27th. And that's a fundraiser for Sweet Peeps Micro Sanctuary that's in Alabama. And you can watch her movie and a live Q&A with Tracy. And that you can go to trianglevegfest.com. It should be on there, but you go to Triangle Vegfest on Facebook, and the event is up. And you can buy your ticket, and you can also donate to Sweet Peeps because help out the chickens. That'd be awesome. And the other animals that she takes care of. So, from that, I will see you next week. And again, subscribe to Virtual Veg Fest on YouTube and our social media, and go win some prizes. virtualvegfest.com. Thanks. Bye.